I have a confession to make. I'm scared to death of cancer. So why am I scared of cancer? Well, it is in our family history that the men have all mainly died before 75 of cancer. My dad died at 74. I had an uncle die at 75. Had another uncle die at 69. One of my brothers died at 69. And I had a cousin die in his 50s. So I really don't know of anyone in my family tree that has made it past 75. So, and I'll have to admit, this is largely one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and retire at 64, is because I didn't want to work to 67 and then maybe only get a couple of years of retirement. I'm trying out this mic up here because sometimes when I've used it and I turn my head or something and it's been on one side, you know, it gets a different volume or something going on there. So I'm just trying this out. But main purpose of this video is to kind of discuss my cancer concerns, and obviously I've got plenty of reason to be concerned with it, because I'd always, like most of us, want to live to be at least 100. So the chances of that genetically in my family are not really good. I remember when my dad died, we had went to the hospital and found out he had cancer, and it wasn't long after that that he went into hospice, and then passed away. And I was kind of shocked, because I really thought that he could just get up and get some exercise and move around and possibly live longer and go on, but it just didn't happen that way. I watched my uncle. He ended up working until he died, and his workers even made some kind of thing where he could stand up and still work at the cutting table. And I wanted badly for him to retire, the year before, and he didn't even, have cancer then, or we didn't know about it, and apparently just doing blood tests don't tell you a lot, because one of the things he complained to me about after finding out he had cancer was that the doctors didn't tell him that he had this going on through blood work. And the same thing happened with my brother that died at 69. He kept going and I guess having blood work done every year, and everything seemed to be fine, and then all of a sudden he's stage 4 cancer. And it had to have been a while, because he had that a big tumor in his colon that had to have been growing for quite a while. So it makes me wonder, can you trust your doctor or blood work to find this out? So I'm not going to rely on blood work from a doctor to know whether I'm going to have cancer. So what am I doing about it? Well, one of the first things that I decided to do was do a little research on what causes cancer, and maybe some ways to avoid it. And one of the ways I came up with is through diet, and it's the main reason that I started what's called the carnivore diet. Now, that's a carb, you don't eat carbs, you don't eat sugar, which sugar is supposed to be, one of the things that cancer likes to feed on, glucose, stuff like that. So I'm hoping that changing my diet is going to help a great deal. Now, some of the side effects of that is that I've lost a lot of weight, which is good because you know, technically I was overweight at around 205 at my highest point, and I could never really drop past 190, you know, trying to eat less carbs and sugar. So I got on this diet, and boy, quickly shot right down to 160. I actually weighed 165 Monday morning, and I'm trying to just stay, you know, from 165 to 170. Now, you know, I'll cheat here and there. I'll, you know, have a piece of pie, or I'll, you know, go out to eat and have a regular dinner every once in a while. I do try to stay away from pasta, but other than that, you know, I don't, you know, I mainly eat meat and eggs and cottage cheese and stuff. I have reintroduced broccoli, because broccoli apparently is one of the fewest things that cancer feeds on. So, but that's the main reason. I wanted to change through diet and exercise, and I'm, you know, I'm right now, you know, you can tell I'm down. I'm working out, you know, feeling a lot better, getting a lot healthier ever since I started this diet. I couldn't do this on a regular diet, you know, just trying to eat less calories. It wasn't going to work. You know, with this diet, I don't have to count calories. I just eat meat and eggs, and you know, mainly animal products, and I'm just kind of at the weight that I would be normally eating a proper diet, I guess. So mainly diet and exercise have been my go-to right now. You know, like I said, I'm getting good side benefits from it. You know, also one of those is that I used to be on acid blockers, you know, PPIs, and now I'm not on them. And for a while I had to, you know, fight a little bit of heartburn after getting adjusted, you know, to eating a lot of fat and stuff like that. But that's happened now, and I'm back to normal. But normal now is weighing 165, you know, getting healthier, and I hope avoiding cancer, you know, or at least slowing down the process of it, you know, wanting to grow in my body. And one thing I forgot to mention while I was on my walk is that shortly after my brother died, and I mean within a month, I went and had a colonoscopy, and they had found like 4 pallets of something, and they were nothing to be concerned about, and they were removed. And I went 3 years later, which was, you know, last year, or was it this year? I don't know. But I went 3 years later and was found to be completely clean in my colon. So I have been trying that. My colonoscopy doctor has told me that to set an appointment for another 5 years since I'm this clean and everything. So, and I'm hoping that that's not too long. I would have liked to have done it every 3 years, but I don't know how quickly colon cancer grows, and I'm sure they do, but I don't want to be one of those statistics that goes in after 5 years and find out, ooh, we got a problem here. But we'll deal with that as it goes. But I am keeping up with colonoscopies. But another option that I've stumbled upon is fasting. And apparently getting into the stage of autophagy, which is, you know, once you're not ate for a while, you know, you go into autophagy, and it'll let's switch this side here. It'll start cleaning up your cells, and I'm hoping that it'll clean up, you know, any cells that would want to go cancerous. So I'm starting. I recently did a 48-hour fast, which I handled just fine. And one thing about, you know, when your body's in ketosis already, you know, you get a quicker benefit from a shorter fast than, say, somebody that has a normal American diet. Let's see if we can get that out here. Uh-oh. You want me to feed you? I don't have anything. I wish I did. I didn't bring anything for you. See there? I don't have anything. I'm sorry. Okay. Squirrels out here getting pretty domesticated. People come out and feed them peanuts and stuff. I've done that a few times. Even got a video of that. You know, obviously the day I was 205 pounds. So fasting's another option I'm going to try to use to kind of clean my cells out. And you know, after researching a little bit, you know, it may be extreme to try to do, for me to do 48-hour or 72-hour fast, because I'm already in ketosis. And boy, me and this little thing here just so the option I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this on a weekly basis, is to have what's called a 24-hour fast, which is basically just going from one dinner to the next dinner. And you know, depending on what my wife's schedule is and all that, I'll figure out, you know, what day I can do that. And I could, nothing saying I couldn't do it every 5 days or something, you know, just kind of tweak it a little bit. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, because you know, when I go, you know, 24 hours without eating anything, probably from hour 16, I'm probably getting some good benefits from autophagy. It took me a while to learn that word, how to say it, but it's supposed to ramp up and start cleaning out my cells and, you know, rejuvenating, you know, or whatever that does. And I'm hoping to see, you know, gradual to long-term benefits from doing that. Will I live to 100? Obviously, I have no idea. But now, one good thing is that I do still have an older brother. He's actually my oldest brother, and I believe he's 74 right now. And he and like my dad and my uncle and my older brother, you know, they used to be smokers most of their lives. But he quit, you know, not too long ago, just because he was having issues with his breathing and was even having to get on oxygen a little bit. But he's, you know, he's doing a lot better from now because he quit smoking. So, but I haven't smoked since I was 28. And, you know, of course I've had a horrible diet for all those years. So, you know, I'm having to reverse a lot of that in my gut, which is going great right now with the carnivore diet. So I'm hoping things, you know, go well for my brother, and obviously for myself. I've got, you know, I'm just turning 64 here in August 5th, but you know, my retirement official date is August 1st. And I'm counting the Thursdays till then, which is just 3 more Thursdays. So I'm getting real excited about that. So we're going to see how this goes. You know, I feel like I'm doing just about everything I can to avoid cancer. One of the ways I'm going to try to beat cancer is just to live my life so darn good, what's left of it, and I'll be bored to death, ready to leave this earth. So I plan on, not too long from now, not looking out my back door at beautiful weather and thinking another day inside this shop working all day. I'm going to start going to the golf course, or I'm going to start heading to the lake. I'm going to wake up a bunch of mornings camping out of my truck. So I'm going to fish. So I'll be doing a lot of fishing and golfing, and you know, me and my wife will be traveling to some more areas that I haven't got to see. I really want to go spend some time in Utah, Montana. We even want to take a trip up to Canada and to Alaska. So we'll probably do our Alaska thing, doing a Alaskan cruise. But personally, I want to go drive that Alaskan highway through Canada. and camp out, you know, along the way 2 or 3 times. Just kind of my dream, not hers, but we'll see how all that goes. But that's the plan. Just live life to the fullest till you can't, and try to beat cancer any way you can. And like I said, diet and exercise are going to be my main tools. We'll see how it works out for me. Guy looks like he's got him a nice fish over there, probably a catfish. Got you a catfish, huh? Yep, there's quite a few of those in here. Pretty nice ones. So what are you doing about cancer? You may not have it in your genes or your genetics to, you know, to be prone to it, but if you are, what steps are you taking? Do you do anything diet-wise, exercise? I mean, we don't know exactly how all you can do it, but and it may be, I may not accomplish anything doing this, but we got to try something, don't we? So feel free to leave suggestions in the comments down there. I can use all the help I can get, and they'll all be welcome, trust me. I want to live to be 100.